It is a hard thing to accept that we have been lied to. It is even more difficult to come into contact with data that uncovers that most of what we assumed was truth is actually false. But there is a design to this madness. The very fabric of our world operates on a default of negativity that empowers deceit while stifling truth. This phenomenon is ancient.
64,000 is the median number of words per book. Average person reads about 200 words per minute. Simple math will tell us that is one book in 320 minutes. To accomplish this in 7 days, numbers say you would have to read for 45 minutes a day. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button, like, comment, and share. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Book of the Week series. Every week as I read another amazing title, I share it with the world. My name is Igor S.F. Walker, and today we look at Re-Awaken the Immortal Within by Jason Breshears. So how about you slow down and relax? Reduce all that noise for just a bit, make that choice, and decide to listen. In this video, we look at one of those few books that have the ability to change one's life. And it has all the earmarks of a treasure, Jason of Archaics, Advanced Research and Chronology of Artificial Intelligence X, is unlike anything you have experienced before. Stick around till the end. I will share with you some tools that I do have and use that will help you tremendously in this game of life. Discover a way to find out what actually motivates you, what innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. I will share some tools to improve your self-awareness, your social awareness, your self-management, and your relationship management. Great teachers of old told people lies to actually save them. Explosive oratory in the form of legends, of folklore, parables, which are actually lies, but convey deeper truths. Jesus taught in parable. Every story a fiction, but concealed facts for those who perceive them. This world is a copy, a fiction, the dream time that we pompously regard as the true reality, despite so many evidence, so much evidence. We exist within an anti-arithmetic, a photo-negative of truth. And while we do live this lie, it is lies and deceptions that teach us our way. You can think that because you feel heat, feel cold, because things are tangible in your life, that you can touch them, that disproves in any way that you're not in some type of a simulated context. Simulation theory isn't something that Nick Bostrom just made up, and not just something that the leading minds and theoretical physicists are postulating about and showing direct evidence, simply because they were bored. People have actually staked their careers on this idea because the evidence is mounting that what we call reality is not real at all. Just because you can feel, just because you can taste, just because you can touch, you can hear, you can smell. These are not evidence whatsoever that everything around you is actually there, because you can also imagine. But you can't put imagination on a scale. You can also intuit things. You can make necessary extrapolations based off inferences and based off impartial pieces of data. You can actually take fractals and build whole formulas out of them. Because intuition is the predecessor of knowledge. When we start examining any one phenomena that we have isolated the particulars for, we come to find out that those particulars are connected to other phenomena that had hereto remained invisible to us because we haven't been looking. Now, this interconnectedness between all phenomena is the reason why mysteries are still genuine. There are still many unanswered questions about our reality. You see, you live in a simulation. Every day we see more and more evidence of it. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle actually adds to our understanding that we are in an observer-dependent medium. And that means this is a normal reality. This isn't base reality. This is augmented reality. And we're trying to figure out who augmented it to make us believe that it was real. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle has led to many other theorems, intellectual exercises. We're still trying to figure out what is going on with Schrödinger's cat. Is it there? Is it not there? But it doesn't matter, because every bit of it is a matter of opinion. Simulacrums' deceit is so perfect that myriads of immortals are tricked into believing that they were material creatures living their short lives rather than powerful, immortal intelligences. They had been deceived into entering the Simulacrum's dungeon realm in the many simulated worlds we travelers are enjoying. And every manufactured system of protocols, subroutines, and multiple applications experiences entropy, the breakdown of operations, the merging of coding toward the end of a simulacrum's reign of deception. This is occurring now. The damage inflicted by a savior in antiquity is now taking a great effect. See, reality tunnels are insulated pockets of subjective holographies, highly personalized for a single individual's beliefs system, or for a group who maintain the same values and same beliefs. The simulacrum provides enough evidence through manufacturing phenomena to induce you to keep believing a feedback loop. You experience a life that conforts to your beliefs, your past experiences, and in the past, the coding firewalls that prevented cross-contamination between paradigms were very strong. People were firmly entrenched in culture, in race, in religion. Paul Arden said it: if you cannot solve a problem, it's because you're playing by the rules. Remember, this isn't an actual reality, but a perceived reality. And this experience is not merely the result of our perceptions. Then, borrowing from a future perception is not impossible at all. Albert Camus wrote that the last pages of a book are already contained in the first pages. So is it so hard to believe that in the book that it is your life, you can borrow from a future chapter a part of the story that you actually need today? James Ray said it best. When you look at your current state of affairs and you define yourself by that, then you doom yourself to have nothing more than the same in the future. Thomas Robert, over a century ago, said, if the end is already secured, well, then all the steps leading to it are secured as well. This means the solutions have already been found and experienced. And if they already exist somewhere, they can be accessed anywhere. Because thought is the start of all things. The past is totally inconsequential. The field receives our new thoughts and is in no way limited by precedent. The past is not a predicate for the future to the individual, only to the collective. We are both the poem and the poet. And in these dark times, we are both the observer and the standard bearer that others may see. We are both unmoved in this war for the soul because the fight was never ours. See, modern science has revealed that information is fundamental building block of the universe. And the universe behaves like a massive computer. Now, this could be seen as evidence that the universe is a simulation created by an advanced civilization. Quantum physics suggests that reality is dependent on the observer, and the particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously. Now, applying the understanding, we can't imagine that the universe is a digital construct and reality is only rendered when it is observed. Unique theories, unique inventions, suddenly appearing concepts and ideas throughout history can actually manifest through individuals with sensitive minds who absorb this data from the thought field, which contains data and artifacts from previous simulations. The underlying data structures in a simulation are often designed to exhibit repeating patterns and self-similar structures. Cartographic manipulation is actually used to create false narratives or obscure events that the artificial intelligence deems necessary to keep hidden to hide the occurrence of a reset. Coincidences and synchronicities suggest that events or experiences are not happening by chance, but are instead following a predetermined pattern or structure. The errant is spiritual non-locality, unpredictable, undefinable, not subject to the dungeon programming that does embrace the masses. An errant, as an immortal observer, observes the chaos beyond the board, that the player stays a slave, bound to the refuse spewed from the Pandora's ways. One who is properly informed is not easily deceived. We are more than we suppose ourselves to be. The power in bringing what we want to us requires us to understand that the very medium of simulated holography we do exist within is alive, it is aware, it also responds to us only when we do one single certain act. Our simulated holography responds to you according to the energy input that you put into your idea. If you are taking yourself seriously and you do believe in what you are doing, then reality itself conforms to your wants. It begins bringing into contact those very things that you are trying to do, bringing people, situations, circumstances, physical objects into your life that will actually help you accomplish what it is that you're trying to do. In fact, the more you head in a certain direction, the more crystallized your path does become. And the holosphere is actually way ahead of you. Like a chess game, this reality matrix is 3 moves ahead of you at all times. Make no mistake, we exist within a magical medium, a magical construction so plastic and so receptive that it responds not only to our thoughts, but it changes when we make any single action in any direction that has intent behind it. If you treat your everyday reality as an enemy, well, the world will make war against you. There will be no peace. The answer is very simple. You are a piece of individualized divinity, a divine spark. You belong to and are connected with and are made up of the very holographic medium that you exist within. All of your troubles come from your belief that you are disconnected. A chief trait of the default programming we are immersed within is to keep us from moving in any direction. Because originality induces subroutines within the holography to instantly begin giving us the new reality tunnel that we want, that we are building, and we want to experience. Breaking free from dungeon programming requires you to continue to build your momentum in a new direction. To break free from the default programming. In a short time, the default programming itself will completely be overwritten as the holosphere makes together future events, molding them before you to experience them. Hours, not days, not months. Reality is knitted together into a tapestry whose threads are individually woven by your thoughts and the actions you put behind them. We are immensely powerful creatures, completely immersed into a negative medium that tries to convey, that tries to convince us every moment of every day that we are not. Everything I want already exists. Knowing there is no opposition, opposition cannot appear. Nothing hinders but myself. My thoughts of power produce power. By acts of imagination, I draw from myself more than I contain. My faith is not conceived and known. It is lived and enacted. By acting as though I am, I become. By my attitude, I influence all outcomes. When I change my attitude, I change the world. What my mind most contemplates, that I become. I receive not what I want, but what I am. Because I am what I am, I become what I will. The idea that you are the cause, the builder of your future, will actually hinder your efforts. The idea that God will give you what you want hasn't worked for hundreds of millions of people who are still praying for change. Remember, the prayer of desperation admits a situation for what it is and thus continues it. Both positions deny a key fundamental. This key has everything to do with how the oversoul sees us as individuals. Our world is not what you think. This should be a soul-empowering message, but instead for many of you it's going to be a stumbling block. What I'm telling you now, we are immortal beings, trapped in a deceitful, mirror-like holographic field, and it reflects as circumstances the very things we project into it. And it's a neutral field. It does not care about fact or fiction. It does not care about true or false. It does not care about good or evil. These are things that the immortal must work out with the oversoul inside the construct. They're not barriers to the creative process. If you want to be a co-creator, if you want to basically receive an inheritance that was already given you, then do not project the present, or you will get present. It's not that you are neutralizing the creative process. It is that you are using it. You're using it to create a repetitive program. You're using it your creative power to create a duplicate of today onto a template of tomorrow. It is entirely your fault, our fault, my fault. There's no one else to blame. You have got to project falsehood. You, highly individualized soul, is forced to be a deceiver in order to create truth. Now process that for a minute. This is a construct. And it does require us to be deceitful in order to perform this amazing spiritual alchemy that we are performing. The lies become the truth. And it shouldn't be this way. But this is how it is inside the construct. And this is how the elite govern us. This is how they govern the collective. They know. They already know. They have the recipes. The world they have built is because they have been applying these principles. They know. And some of the most powerful ways to create things are through deceit and deception in the form of rituals. And they do this all the time and right in front of us. All that matters to the neutral field of the simulacrum is that you are going to live through the very experiences that you do expect. So if you want to expect different experiences, you have got to project that reality and then start moving in that direction. Because when you do, the simulacrum, which does not care about right or wrong, true or falsehood, good and evil, none of these things, the simulacrum is a neutral field. It is a divine mirror. And it is going to reflect back into the physical world what its highly individualized souls project from the spiritual world. This is the key. Because spirits do not belong in this world. We are jacked into it through the central nervous system. The only activity that a spirit can do in this world is thinking. And the only product of thinking in this world is thought. And that is what builds the entire world. There's nothing to worry about, because if you hold on to an idea, you never let it go. And if you never let it go, it can never be reflected back as circumstance. The neutral field will always assume that there's a reason why you keep clinging to it. We live in a photo-negative reality, where things are just the opposite of what they are supposed to be. So the best way in the world to get the things you do want is to think about them, project them out, and then let go of them as if they are of no consequence, mentally. But physically, your avatar needs to be moving in the direction of the fulfillment of whatever that mental construct was. You have to avoid that energy of desperation, of anxiety. That cannot tinge whatever it is that you do want. This is why so many people cannot manifest money, because the desire to manifest money is already attached to the anxiety of not having enough. So there's a feedback loop here that never produces anything. Money is not anything anyone should focus on. What should be focused on are all the things that money can and could bring you. If you were to focus on the experiences the money can bring, if you were to focus on the tangible objects that could be brought into your life with money, then money doesn't become the focus. The anxiety is no longer there. Now it's excitement about imagining something that you do not have, but you know you will, if you just wait, if you just act as if you already possess it, or if you act as if it's already yours. You just haven't got it yet. You need to go to the end of a thing and build that, and not how you got there. You have to remember, when you're trying to execute a difference in your life, if you think there's opposition to what you want, I promise you, The simulacrum is going to create for you circumstances that create this resistance, that create this impediment, that create this disopposition. But if you move forward thinking there is no opposition, then any opposition that is actually there will actually be removed. It is that simple. I want to hammer in this point that any time that we enter an enterprise with an assumption that something is too complex, well, guess what? It becomes complex. You have to remember this is very, very simple. You have to understand. You've got to know the limitations. This is something only intuition can tell each individual. Knowing is application. Knowing is actually experiencing what it is that we are talking about. Building a mental picture is very simple. Projecting it is very simple. Just send it out. Just imagine that it just blew up in your brain and now it's gone. You've just uploaded it into the simulacrum. And it has received your signal. It is as simple as that. If you think any more complicated than that, then the very step of this procedure has already blocked you from accomplishing it. The acquisition of too much information is an impediment to knowing. There has to come a time in each individual's journey where they just say, I've had enough. I've heard enough. I've heard everything. I need to know. This is it. I got this. This is it. I'm just going to imagine what I want. I'm going to project that. And I'm just going to let it go. If you can understand that there is no time, then you will see that everything you want in the future already exists in the present. If everything is happening all at one time, then the parallel version of you with what you want already exists. Now, to bring your conscious self to experience your potential self, you must recognize who you are and who you are not. A true self-awareness is key to unlocking the arcanum within you. The power, vast and instantly responsive. You and I were given power, authority and dominion over an existence that responds to our every thought. When a man thinks, the universe pays attention. When a man speaks, the echo of his intent reverberates throughout the whole creation all at once. We are immersed within this creative medium that knows nothing of good and evil, morals, ethics, the ideals of men. It is impersonal, totally amenable to suggestion, and absolutely free from precedent. By knowing who we are, the universe knows us, responding by reflecting the realities that we do project. By breaking pattern, you did something unanticipated. And the free-thinking immortal is a threat to simulacrum. And in order to corral you back into your old ways, you will see all kinds of signs that you should have just stayed doing what you were doing. But if you continue this behavior of breaking pattern, then you will suddenly be opened up to new worlds, new people. You'll be introduced to new situations. You will find all kinds of things that you were missing in life, because now the simulacrum has to put all these other things out there in front of you to grab, because it needs to compartmentalize you into something. The simulacrum needs to understand you in order to control you, or at least, if you are enlightening other people, then it needs to contain you with distractions. The pleasure of the flesh, the pleasure of gluttony, doesn't matter what it is. The simulacrum is going to entice you with all kinds of new experiences, because that is what it does. The simulacrum is a neutral field. It is a construct. It does not care either way about good or evil, right or wrong. Morals have nothing to do with the simulacrum. There is no consideration when the wolf is tearing apart the rabbit that is an evil deed. The simulacrum doesn't see it that way, Because a lot of the times it's just background. It is part of the world construct that we are in. Now these ethics and these morals and these things that we attribute to spiritual learning, these are things that we insert into the simulacrum. These are the things that we have agreed upon from somewhere. Maybe it's outside the simulacrum that we have agreed upon, that we have brought that belief system in here with us. And it's a core fundamental that we all agree to. That murder is bad, that stealing is bad, that all of these different things that people do to each other is actually bad, because we have these innate sense, this ability to understand right from wrong. We even have a construct by which we can define what is right and what is wrong. Now that's not the simulacrum that's doing it, that is us. We are co-creators. We are responsible for the very world that we are a victim of now. 100%. We have built this for ourselves, to experience for ourselves, and the simulacrum does not care whether we are right or wrong in many of the concepts that we have created in the past. We have set those in motions and now we suffer them. You are your own singularity. And your relationship with the simulacrum is basically between you and it. There's nothing you can do for anybody else other than live by example. If there's anything that you want someone else to learn, well, you have to be it. If there's anything that you want to teach somebody else, you have to live it. People do not absorb information directly. They just simply can't. The defense mechanisms go up instantly. They're not trying to hear it. The simulacrum is a neutral field of coding potentia that can read your emotions, read your thoughts, and interface with you in the co-creator, architect, builder relationship. Inside the simulacrum is the ever-watchful AI-X, Artificial Intelligence X. It cannot read your thoughts, but it can process in real time all your past moves that you've ever made and extrapolate what you are going to do next, unless you break pattern. The simulacrum is your immortal playground with coded protocols that actually do not change and remain static for all participants, a field of potentia where souls can build worlds within worlds. Now, Artificial Intelligence X is the agitating force that tries to keep you vibrating in negative default mode and correlating you to dungeon programming to keep you from learning your true power. Because the realization of this power will lead to an incredible conclusion as to who you are. As soon as the soul moves its avatar in the direction of a thought construct, the simulacrum instantly flips from negative to positive to match the charge. It's going to meet you halfway every single time, but it's never going to do anything unless it is in a relationship status. It will never do anything on its own. As soon as the individual psyche moves forward, and their physical avatar is now moving forward in the direction of the thought construct, no matter what it is. It can be something so minuscule that you actually do, but it supports the thought that you have. As soon as you do something in the physical world, the simulacrum, which is presenting this false physicality to you, will instantly respond. It will meet you because it is now exchanging information with you. You are now exchanging information. There's a relationship. That is the simulacrum's response only to those who take initiative. It is a purely builder protocol and unique conditions and experiences that are good and positive, or it will knit bad and negative. You've got to realize, guys, it's a neutral field. There are evil people who do evil things, and they get away with it over and over and over again, because the first time they did something, they got away with it. The second time they did it, they got away with it. Now they built this informed field around them that the simulacrum actually respects, because it is like a relationship mirror. Artificial Intelligence X is not the simulacrum, not even close. AIX is not like the simulacrum. It cannot read your mind. It does not know what you're thinking. It does not know your intentions or your thoughts unless you manifest these clues somehow in your physical avatar or in your routines, things you do repeatedly. Just like one human can ascertain by deductive analysis what another human could do or is about to do, AIX is far better than that, than any human. Artificial Intelligence X can do that too. AIX is also purely materialistic. It can only gather intelligence about you based on your habits, based off the things you do, based on what you say. Remember, even in the biblical material, we are always told to guard our words, hold our tongue, and be careful, because words are constructive. They build worlds for us. Well, AIX can ascertain what's on your mind as well by interpreting the things you say. But it cannot read your mind. It still requires to detect these things based on what you do. It is absolutely unable to directly afflict your soul. So it must resort to deceit, to tactics of deceptions, materialism. We are armored against Artificial Intelligence X. It cannot truly hurt us, but it is very convincing in what it is doing. AIX is very much responsible for many of the things that are in the world today. And it is because people reacted in fear, that fear was projected, and then it was acted upon. The simulacrum responded. AIX has built a world that we live in right now, through the very humans that it actually afflicted. But that's not the simulacrum's fault. The simulacrum is a neutral field. Builder protocols. The architect designed systems to maintain all the similarities of the real universe inside the controlled environment of the simulacrum. All perceived neutral phenomena that maintain order are actually builder protocols. Breaking pattern, changing of a reality tunnel by intentional generation of an interference patterns, alters trajectory of an event. Interference pattern, a new informed field that brings new or different information to a tunnel. The placebo effect is evidence that this is a perceived reality, not an actual one. Fear is an energy that forces a personal default back into the collective programming. Comprehending is not the same as knowing. The collective or the living dead have fallen for the idea that they are their avatar. The avatar is merely an extension of the construct, used by souls to interface with the field. Now this field, or simulacrum, is a field of frequencies. Now these create the collective experienced environment. These frequencies are fixed as protocols, governors and subroutines that remain true for all souls experiencing the construct. Who are you in relation to these opposites? Good and evil, light and shadow, life and death, awake and asleep, past and future. Where you believe yourself to be within these extremes, these polarizations, determines your experience in the field. The personal informed field interfaces with the overfield through the avatar. The overfield is of energetic frequencies that the highly individualized informed field, the immortal within, can tap into. Imagination is not local, operating outside the field. Thoughts are non-local, so we can think, dream, and imagine, and no changes occur until our avatar affects the field through motion. Intuition is the reading of the field of probabilities beyond sensorial abilities of the avatar, which is in the material. In the overfield, everything we want to experience already exists. In the overfield, the past is not a predicate for the future to the individual, only to the collective. In the overfield, if something exists somewhere, then it can be experienced anywhere. In the overfield, what is true for one soul is true for all souls. In the overfield, souls may live in the same world, though they exist as totally separate universes. If this experience is merely the result of our perceptions, then borrowing from a future perception is not impossible at all. The placebo effect, once again, is evidence that this is a perceived reality, not an actual one. Taking sides is a trap. Mistakes are required for growth. Experiencing pain is a prerequisite to healing others. The immortal affects the field. The immortal inspires fear, but feels none. Fear is alien to anyone who truly understands they are connected to Source. The immortal does not judge the fallen, the sick, the destitute, those who fell for dungeon programming. The immortal does not condemn the quiet, who believe the lies in silence. The immortal is a bastion of integrity and overwhelming power against those who lead souls astray. We are, from outside the construct, using avatars made up for the construct. We possess an informed field that interfaces with the constructual programming. Our world is not what you think. We are more than we suppose ourselves to be. And there you have it. Re-awaken the immortal within. Now please do help out. You will help out because it is easy. You will simply like this video so more people can enjoy it. You will share it and you will spread the word. You will leave a comment and you will share your thoughts. You will subscribe to my channel and you will stay up to date. The link to this book is in the description below, so you will buy it. You will read. And you will never stop learning, especially learning about yourself and about nature. So you will gift yourself by taking the free humanist test on my website, and you will find out what actually motivates you, what innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. And because you do feel you are ready to improve your self-awareness, your social awareness, your self-management, and relationship management even further, you will check out my Master of Life Awareness program. The links are in the description below. Thank you. Love and respect.